And whenever you're ready, you can get started.
Okay. You can release an innocent man from prison, but you cannot release him from the grave. Freddie Lee Pitts said this after being exonerated from Florida's death row for a crime he did not commit. He spent 12 years of his life locked away from his family and his friends, and is a prime example of why the death penalty needs to be abolished. The death penalty, also known as capital punishment, is defined as a government-sanctioned practice whereby a person is put to death as punishment for a crime, and is a topic of much debate within the nation. The risks the death penalty bring greatly outweigh the benefits, and it must be banned. One of the biggest fears in cases with the death penalty is that we will murder an innocent person. Unfortunately, this is all too much a reality. Of the 1,397 people to ever be executed in the entire history of the United States, 150 of them were innocent. They did not commit the crime that they were accused of. That's roughly 1 out of every 10 inmates. People may say that the death penalty is a deterrent for committing a crime, but they are wrong. The death penalty is a punishment just like any other, and the government's job is to protect the people. And the murder of innocent people is never acceptable under any circumstance. The pain of losing a loved one is immense. It is unbearable and it is unimaginable. 150 families in the United States of America have been put through this pain, as a member of their family was ripped from them too soon by their state's perverse ideals of justice. How can our government say that all men are created equal and they were all endowed with the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and then take those rights from us, taking the rights of life from 150 men and women, and the rights of happiness from their family, who forever have to live with this pain? There are 4 methods that people will implement in executing convicts. None of them are 100% painless or guaranteed to work. Now, people may say that the Constitution does not guarantee you a painless death, but the Constitution does protect us from cruel and unusual punishments. And a failed execution would be incredibly painful and would fall under the category of cruel or unusual. Lethal injections are the most commonly used method of execution, being used in 33 states. Unfortunately, they're the longest to kill people, taking anywhere between 20 minutes to over an hour, and they have the highest percentage of failures. Autopsies on the bodies later have revealed foot-long chemical burns within the body and needles being embedded underneath the flesh. It also requires a medical personnel to be involved in the killing for the state, which breaches the code of conduct that all medical personnel agree to when they take their job. The electric chair is the second most used method, being used in 8 states. It is a process whereby a person is strapped to a chair and metal plates are put upon their arms, chest, legs, groin, and head. And a jolt of between 500 to 2,000 volts is given for around 30 seconds. This method is incredibly hard to get right, and when done wrong, the prisoner will be put through unimaginable pain as their arms and legs break and dislocate. Their eyes will pop out, and they will vomit blood. And even after all this, they are not dead. They are wasted away, but they will have to be executed in another manner because this one has failed. Because of this, it is no longer the sole method of execution in any state. The gas chamber is the third most used method, being used in 5 states, where a prisoner is put inside an airtight room and cyanide gas is pumped in. According to Penitentiary Warden Clifton Duffy, the prisoner is unquestionably experiencing pain as their skin turns purple, their eyes pop, and they begin to drool and choke. Inmate Charles Chessman said that he would nod if he was feeling pain, and witnesses said that he was nodding for several minutes before he was killed. Because of this, this method is only used in 5 states. The 4th and last used method is hanging, where a person is hung from a height with a noose around their neck and they are dropped, and their trachea is snapped. Unfortunately, when this method does not work, the prisoner is left paralyzed instead of dead. Because of this, this method is only used in 3 states. Now, no state can agree with any of the others over which method is humane or acceptable to use. And that is because none of these methods are humane or acceptable to use. They are all in clear violation of our most basic human rights. Now, some may argue that these people's rights do not get protected because they have violated the rights of others. But is that not the point of prisons? To keep people who are unacceptable from living with the general public away where they can be rehabilitated and helped? One of the biggest myths with the death penalty is that it is less expensive than keeping a prisoner in prison in life without parole. This is not true. According to the assessment of costs written by Professor Paula Mitchell and Judge Arthur Alcron, in California it costs $47,000 to keep a prisoner alive, and that's the cost of their health care, their food, and their medical benefits. With the cases of the death penalty, it costs $1.26 million per prisoner. Imagine what that revenue of money could be put to use for if we were to get rid of the death penalty. We could use this money in much needed systems within our judicial system, such as rehabilitation of prisoners. Because in helping those we can rather than damning those we can't, we help society as a whole. You too can get involved. Go to Amnesty International's website. Sign their petitions to end the death penalty. There are multiple organizations within California, such as Amnesty International and the National Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, that can always use help regardless of age. Why keep a system that doesn't work? It is flawed, it is broken, and it has killed innocent people. Now, people may say that the death penalty is retribution for a crime. But in the words of Professor Raymond A. Schroth, retribution is just another word for revenge. And the desire for revenge is one of the lowest human qualities. So I beg of you, rise above the pettiness of revenge and help make this world a better place for everyone.